people of Freland. As always, I'm your host, Sterling K. King, King by name and King by reputation. Today we have some breaking news for our consumers. Cross-contamination with aboleth meat has resulted in a recall of Trident brand tasty tuna products. If you have recently consumed this product and are experiencing upset stomach, diarrhea, psychic links with an ancient abomination, please contact your local physician. Last we saw, the 210 Newsport was entering the dangerous meat fields. After no small amount of bickering, Paige was able to pick up the trail of Professor Wyberstone's murderer. Now, sit back, relax, have a smoke, have a coffee, and enjoy as Thor, Paige, Squiggums, and Hap pursuit.
Squiggums, you stand atop the roof of the train as it barrels through a maze of threatening flesh. You see many of these armoured gentlemen with flamethrowers sort of very focused on the outside of the train, and you've just seen this hatch laying open, 3 cars there. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna run for the hatch.
So Squiggle takes off, just screaming, sprinting towards the back of the train. You guys hear his little footsteps sort of as he runs across. What do you want to do?
Well, I guess that's out of queue, isn't it? I'll just take off following the footsteps.
I'm keeping the gun in one hand and the halberd in the other as I follow them.
I have so many regrets.
As the 3 of you sprint along the lower cars between the doors, this wave of shock kind of following you through the coach cabin. You guys make your way 3 cars back. Looking around, you see the open hatch up there. You see a bunch of people staring at the floor, doing their best not to look out any windows or anything. And then you suddenly see Squiggums drop down through the hatch in the room with you.
He's in here. I seen it.
He suddenly was at some point. The nearest person I'll point a finger at. What happened here? What'd you see?
He kind of looks up what are you talking about, man?
Well, something opened that hatch, then something dropped down here. Did you see it?
I ain't fucking looking up. Are you fucking joking?
So none of you saw a murderer drop from the ceiling to the floor and probably take off running.
A couple of people sort of look up you didn't hear the announcement? You're not worried about murder bonds or anything? What the fuck's wrong with you people? Sit down!
Will someone tell me what a murder bond is?
A guy with a sort of well-groomed mustache sort of stands up. You notice him distinctly looking at the floor. He says, "Oh, it's the flesh fields, ain't it? You make eye contact with the fields, and they take you.
What does that mean?
If the field makes eye contact with you, it will come and it will take you. And if it tries to take too many people, it'll take this whole fucking train down."
Why would they put windows on this?
I don't know, seeing, innit?
I have so many questions that nobody's gonna answer to satisfaction.
Okay, I have a plan. Hap, Paige, could you 2 go lock the 2 doors on either side of this cabin? While I get the hatch, close it, my halberd?
Oh god.
Okay, first, I'm gonna take a look around with Detect Magic and see if there's any...
Roll me perception, with advantage.
Oh boy. That's a 15.
Okay. So, looking around, it does take you a second, as the aura is considerably fainter than you might expect, but you do see it in the coat of a rather concerned-looking elven man.
I don't know how to do this without causing a scene.
I mean, if you say anything, Thor's gonna shoot him in the face.
Exactly. That's the problem.
No, I won't. I have better plans. Trust me on this. I have plans for train terrorism.
How about this? I'm gonna whisper into Hap's ear that I see the same aura in that elven man's coat.
And I will respond with an insight roll. Is that cool?
On the guy?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
16.
You take him in for a second, and he looks incredibly familiar to you. Not the man, but the situation. He's terrified as he sits there, giving occasional glances around. He knows you're looking for him, but he doesn't look like a killer.
I'm going to casually walk in front of him and subtly... Well, is there going to be sitting next to him?
Yeah, he's flanked by a hobgoblin and a dwarven man, both focusing on the floor like everybody else.
Gotcha. Oh, that's true. Everybody's looking down. So I will pull out my pistol, point it directly at his face, and tell him, "Listen here, son. I don't know what you did or if you did it, but I'm gonna need you to start talking. And if you do anything but breathe and speak, I'll send you to meet the gods."
Oh no, I thought he was the reasonable one.
He sort of looks up, and you see fear welling in his eyes as he begins reaching into his coat with his right hand.
I'll rest the gun to his forehead.
Roll intimidate.
At 20.
Holy shit, man! You've been racking him up. His hand immediately stops, and then he locks eyes with you, and then looks further down the train at another man. The other man that he's looking at, also elven, he's got these really piercing eyes, presently fixed on you, and his intent is unmistakable.
In that case, I'll just say, "Squiggums, it's that."
I'm gonna deck him in the face.
Alrighty, everybody, roll initiative.
Yes! I got a 7!
Ha!
I got a 21.
Also 21.
No, guys, we have to stop this. I'm rolling way too well. Something is wrong with the universe.
Oh boy, this is not good.
And that is a nat 1 on the assassin. So,
Awesome.
yeah, this is a surprise round, and Squigum's initiated, so go ahead and start.
Punch number 1. Oh, that's a 9.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch him a second time. Oh, it's a 12. Should I flurry?
Flurry.
I'm gonna flurry.
Go for it.
Do it.
20!
That is a hit as you rush in. He's ready for you when you first run in. And from a sitting position, actually manages to skillfully block your first 2 punches before beginning to stand up when you take your opportunity, just slug him just direct on the jaw. Roll damage. 7 bludgeoning damage. And he feels it. A little squirt of blood flies out the side of his mouth as your fist impacts.
Okay, part of that was actually kind of intimidating. He caught my punches.
Thor.
So, we know for a fact it's this one here and the one at the far end, eh?
Yep.
Okay. Would it be possible for me to use my halberd to whack him in the chest so he flies out the window?
Alright.
Alright, that is what I'm going to do then. And I will roll my halberd. Oh, that's a nat 1. Who do I smack?
So, Thor, you wind up to take your swing with no regard or care particularly for what's going on around you. As it comes in, a hobgoblin barely ducks the blade, and so does that elf as your halberd connects with the window, shattering it and slipping free from your grasp, spinning off and embedding it into a mound of flesh that quickly disappears behind the train.
Fuck! God damn it! Fuck!
I made all that gold was worth it, wasn't it?
Shut up!
And that man basically puts his head between his knees, his hands over his head. A very clear sort of submission.
Damn.
Any other 900 IQ plays there, Thor?
I'm salty now. I'm a salty lad. I don't think there's a whole lot else I can really do, is there? Well, let me just remove the halberd from my list.
Does that just I'm assuming that'll send you into a rage, right?
No, not quite. I still have a handgun. So what's the damage on the handgun, just so I know?
It's a D8, PSA.
D8? Cool, alright. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm going to look at the guy that I have the gun pointed at and say, "You move, you die. We'll talk in a second." And I assume I can shoot right over Squigum's headed this dude, right?
Oh yeah, he's like at least 2 squigums high.
Alright, so that's gonna be... Let me check my dex real quick.
Squigums is 3'3" for all those listening at home.
In case you want to make your Squigum's cardboard cuttings.
In case you want to make your own Squigums.
Right now, 1995.
So I'm going to take a shot from my pistol. Does a 9 hit?
A 9 does not hit as the shot rings out and impacts the wall over his head.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's all I got. That's my turn.
Lovely. This is going well. Paige.
Alright. I don't want to just let loose with a big spell in the middle of this place. So, gonna stay safely over here next to all of the people with armor. And, I guess, toss a ray of frost at the guy next to Squigums.
That's a U roll.
21 hit.
21 hits.
Sweet.
And that's 5 gold damage. As a burst of freezing air emerges from your wand, sort of striking him dead in the chest, a large collection of sort of frost building up on the outside of his jacket as he reels back. Next is... so we're back into normal combat now, and it is Hap's turn.
Alright. And I'm gonna tell dude next to me, listen here, you give me that dagger right now.
He sort of opens up his coat and just sort of hands it to you hilt first. It's a very fucking scary looking thing with a bunch of elven inscription on the side.
Alright. I will worry about that later, and I'm gonna run on up there and try to do some stabbings.
Alright, roll attack.
Anything special about this dagger?
As far as attack, it's +1 dagger.
Oh, nice! A 24.
24 hits, roll normal dagger damage plus 4d8 necrotic.
And sneak attack.
Alright.
So that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 damage.
21 damage. So Hap sort of takes the dagger from the guy's hand, sprints forward as he brings it across the guy's chest, and just this wide slash. Dark energy sort of floods from the blade as it makes contact, pouring into the wound. And you see his flesh sort of rapidly rot around it. He lets out a sudden gasp and sort of like reels back, very severely hurt.
Well, isn't that fancy in the worst kind of way?
Anything else?
Nope. That is all I got.
Alright. And after executing this strike, the dagger, it sort of brightens briefly, and then softens and dulls and fades, and the weapon goes sort of cold and heavy in your hand. Paige, you see the aura around the weapon in Hap's hand just completely disappear after that strike.
Okay, so they're single use.
Or they're just now run out. So what would you like to do?
I feel kind of weird just going full murder on these guys, even though that's what the professor said to do. But we don't know their plans, or why they've done this.
I mean, it's really up to you.
Okay, guess I'll go over to the guy that's currently peeing himself. I'm gonna say, please hold out your hands.
He sort of looks up at you a little bit confused, and then slowly does so.
I'm gonna tie his hands together.
Okay, he is compliant as you lean forward and bind his hands. I will let you do that as free object interaction, because I am a generous god.
Alright, cool. I guess we only need one of them. So, I mean, those two seem pretty capable.
So what's the move?
I'm gonna go over so that I'm just not quite in range of being hit by a person, hopefully. And, hopefully have a clear shot at this guy with a ray of frost.
Okay, roll.
The 10. That's gonna miss.
That is indeed going to miss. Squigums.
Y'all know Squigums by now. I mean,
You know what you're
he's a
about.
very diplomatic guy. He'd never hurt anyone except for this guy. And pretty much anyone else. That's a 14.
That is a miss.
The second punch is a 9.
There's also a miss.
Ooh.
And I don't want to spend my last key point on this punch, so I'm just gonna let that action be wasted.
Yeah,
Actually, fuck it. No. Let me spend... I'm just gonna waste my key point. Fuck it.
okay.
Final punch! 16?
That hits. Roll damage.
Yeah! 7.
7 bludgeoning damage. So, as even as severely wounded as this guy is right now, like woozy, barely on his feet, he's still a supremely skilled fighter as he just continues like catching punches, and then finally you land like a heavy blow to his hip that manages to get through his guard and stagger him, but he is not down. Thor, you're presently unarmed.
I mean, I still have the gun
True.
Oh god.
and some javelins.
True.
Alright. I'm mad. Not super mad. Just annoyed, if anything. This man to my right. What's his current reaction to the events going on currently?
His hands are bound, and he's presently terrified.
Look at him. And I'll point at him and go, You there. You plan on leaving?
Kind of shakes his head.
Good, because you're not going to. And I'm gonna plant the javelin through his leg and pin him to the seat.
Jeez! Oh, man. He lets out a shriek of pain as you bury it through his thigh and into the seat cushion, and you hear a sort of satisfying thunk as the tip of the javelin pierces the wood below, embedding itself a good quarter-inch.
Okay, did that take my action?
That's definitely an attack action, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. Alright, fair enough. What else? You know what? I'm gonna then just sit down next to him. And just stare him down the whole time. With the revolver held out, pointed between his legs.
Jesus Christ, man.
God.
Alrighty. Hap,
We don't fuck around, Morse's magic guy.
apparently not. Hap, you got this guy on the ropes. He is essentially dead to rights.
Gotcha. I will, since I still have the revolver or my pistol out, point it at him, say, "Now's your chance to surrender," and I'll hold action. And if he moves, I'll pop him.
Okay.
If he does anything but surrender, I'll pop him.
Alright, he kind of looks at you and gives a sort of like broad, bloody grin. You see his mouth like pretty much full of blood from the initial slug that Squiggums gave him. And he sort of looks over his shoulder out into the vast fields of infinite death out the window.
Oh no.
Oh.
And he turns to jump out. So, attacks of opportunity.
Can I pull out my garrote and get that around his neck?
Yeah, roll an attack with it.
23.
Hell yeah.
And rather than do damage, I'm just trying to hold him in place.
Okay. You can render him unconscious if you like.
I'd like to do that.
Alright. So as he turns to make a sort of sprint, like planting his feet between the legs of an incredibly frightened passenger, you drop both of your weapons and reach in your coat, pulling out a length of wire attached to 2 bits of cord, and just sling it over his neck, sort of bringing him to the ground in this really aggressive and violent takedown. You hold him for a few seconds until you feel like the resistance stop, and he collapses unconscious to the ground.
Well, look at that. It appears that not only mages can cast sleep. Well, here we are. The end of another one. We'd appreciate you stopping by. And I do hope you liked the show. And you'll subscribe to watching future episodes. You see what I did there? Leave your comments below. We'd love your feedback. And we just want to hear from you. Look us up on Twitter, Instagram. Come chat with us over on Discord. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.